20 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
All right, guys, you can't. My mic is off. I switched. I selected the wrong mic. How about that? That's kind of crazy. Anyways, you're gonna get me with, I guess, not the best sound at the moment. Trying out some new stuff. So if you've noticed anything, we got some different stuff. I've got. It's hard to see right now. Which is half by design, but that's a bookshelf that'll be full of books. So I still got to do that, but you can see a couple of other weird things there, but check this out. One touch, we go into a little bit more of a close-up, right? You can see my unshaven Sunday face, and I can immediately flip back to my wide camera. So I put up the whole studio. I got a big screen here that previews everything so I can see the production as we go. You can't see any of my controls. I just screwed up on selecting the right mic. So hopefully you forgive me for that. It's probably a little echoey with this mic, but such is life. Anyways, I thought just because I wanted to test this out, try it out, see how it looked, and make sure that everything was the way that I wanted it to be, see how it comes out. I figured I'd talk about a concept that I think is really important. It's something that I've been... I've wrestled with for sure at times. When I explain it, you probably realize that you maybe have wrestled with it as well. And it's something that I've dealt with in partnerships, I've dealt with clients, I've dealt with in coaching and students and so many different things. And it's this simple concept. I'm going to ask you guys a question. Watch this dramatic zoom. Would you rather be right or would you rather be rich? I know. We all want both, right? I'd love it if I could be right all the time and make money all the time, right? But unfortunately, that's just not the reality. Here's the tagline to this. Would you rather be right or would you rather be rich? Because you can't be both, right? So let's talk about this. I remember the first time that I heard this. My friend, really good friend, he started out as kind of a mentor, Tim Johnson. He asked me this one day, and he actually has a sign in his office that says this. I was probably like pushing back on him in some way with what he was trying to teach me. And it was more me trying to figure it out. And we do this thing a lot of times as humans, where when we're learning something, we try to figure it out. We're trying to fit it into the boxes that we already have to understand it. And what that can actually look like sometimes is us trying to be right. And sometimes it is us just trying to be right rather than take the advice at face value. So like a simple example might be if I told you, in order for us to win at Facebook ads, you have to have an ugly ad. In fact, this is going to look counter to all of your branding, and I promise you it's going to do better. We need to test it. And somebody goes, no, I'm not going to do it, right? And so like, what happens there? Well, there's a risk reward to that. Cool, you get to keep your brand integrity, but you miss out on what's actually going to catch attention on social media because you're not advertising your brand, you're advertising to interrupt people into the flow, right? So it's a simple example, but many of us could choose to be right in that case. Designing a website, this is what I think is right. Well, like largely, most of the time when somebody says that, the answer is kind of like, based on what? Based on what? Like, you just think that it's right? Or do we want to be data-driven and be right and actually do it in a way that leverages best principles and all of these things, or do you just want to feel good about how it looks, right? And I'm not calling out any of my specific clients or students or anything on this. I've done this myself numerous times. This isn't like a call out thing. The question is, what do we do about it? Because our egos want to be right. We're satiated when we feel like we did the thing that we feel like is right to do, even if it costs us a whole bunch of time or a whole bunch of money, right? I'm dealing with this on a project right now where we're months and months and months and months into this thing. And it's like there's so many little things that we've worked on, and it's all up against this sense of just being right with everybody that's involved rather than being effective. And I think that's the real measure on how we sort of change the landscape on this right or rich. Would you rather be right, rich, or effective? Because effective means you're going to be rich, and effective means you can find what's right. I hope that makes sense. When we're looking at this, effectiveness is sort of the end metric that we want to be. So I'll ask you, like, what's more effective? Like, build Rome in a day, or and do it sort of like 80% good, or take 6 weeks and build Rome perfectly? The answer is build Rome in a day and do it like 80% good. The reason is because you can build on it later. You can build more on it as you go. You can get an initial piece out there. You might be making money right away on something that you're doing with an improvement plan on the backside to take data and refine with data, right? And that's something that so many of us just don't do because it feels good to like be right. It feels good to like say, this is the thing that'll work. Trust me. When the most honest thing you can say is, I don't actually know what's going to work yet. Like the most honest thing anybody can say at any point in time with that stuff is, I don't honestly know what's going to work. Now, maybe it's something a little different where like you're building a house and there are definitely things that work and things that don't, right? In that case, fine, experience matters. But again, do you want to argue with that person who knows the deal? Sometimes people do, right? And that kind of holdup and that kind of resistance is a big thing. There's another aspect to this, which is, would you rather have an opinion or have advice, right? I'm sure that your mom or aunt or a distant cousin has an opinion on anything you're doing on the internet or the business or anything like that. And they're going to go, hey, you should try this thing. Well, great. That's an opinion and it's fair, versus somebody who does what you're doing at a much higher level that comes back and says, no, you should try these things. That's advice. Would you rather be right or would you rather be rich? Being rich is taking the advice. Getting effective is taking the advice. Asking for help is taking the advice. So that's what I got. I want you just to think about it, contemplate on it. It's a really kind of big 2mm shift if you actually embrace it. And I'll be honest, I'm not the best at embracing it. Believe it or not, folks, I am a student of all this as well. And I hope that I'm just a little bit better at it than the students that I have. But listen, it's real human dynamics, right? Like we all have egos. We all have ways that we want to feel good about what we're doing. And if we're in the room with other people and those things are going back and forth, like the core answer has to be, well, what's just going to be effective? Because effectiveness is something everybody can agree on, right? Now you might say, well, somebody's going to say this is effective and that's not. But like you can get to a level where we can both say, all of us say, whoever's involved can say, yeah, we all agree this will be effective, instead of everybody just trying to fight for the right thing. You know, look, it happens in the best, biggest organizations in the world. I'm certainly not going to be void of it, and neither are you. But the more we can be aware of it, the more we can do something about it. So thank you for hanging out with me on this little test. If you liked this, let me know. If you like the background, probably the sound sucks. You know, sorry, I'll get it right with the mic next time. But I hope you have an amazing rest of your Sunday. I hope you kick off the week tomorrow and kick it off to win, right? I'll talk to you guys soon.